All right, so we're officially into season 3, the first episode for this
Yes.
season. Quite a bit has changed,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. I know from season 2, episode 9 and episode 10, a lot of people like the new lighting situation with
Which
kind of
is
like this top-down lighting. It honestly looks a lot cooler. It kind of gives like this more like, like detective kind of like,
yeah.
vibe that I like. So definitely we're going to keep to it. And then obviously we're going to be having a new profile picture on both Instagram and YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
so that's going to be nice.
Yep.
And yeah, just a lot more conversations and a lot more guests. So yeah,
Yes,
any
sir.
updates with you?
Um,
Before season 3.
the Instagram is going great. Thank you guys all for tuning into there.
Mm-hmm.
With our lives, with our clips that we've been posting, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, recently we recorded an unfiltered live, which was one of the funniest lives that we've had.
That's so true. Yeah, we had SANKALP'S brother on. We had Sarthak, and some other great people. We also even had Krivy, which was
Privy,
honestly really
yeah.
weird because he was in like a hot tub
It was
or
a very
pool.
weird
Yeah, it was
situation.
just weird. Yeah. So if you
Yeah,
guys want to see some weird content, make sure to check out our unfiltered.
definitely. Yeah.
It'll definitely be there. Yeah.
But exactly, that's what our unfiltered is here for.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
but I guess some updates about me is that
yes,
I shaved my head.
yes.
Can show you guys
Show
like a
it.
little bit. Here you go. Kind of shaved it. It's already
Yes.
grown back within like the first 2 weeks, which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of impressive. I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, so that's like a little bit of some changes, and obviously we're getting to the end of second semester for
Almost done
college.
with
Yeah, we're almost
freshman
done
year.
with freshman year online, which that's
Exactly.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Um, it's honestly weird to think about, right? That our first year of college is just done,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Yeah.
we're on the final stretch of it,
Yeah,
basically.
and just to think that we spent like almost a year, like 10 months into online school.
Yeah,
Yeah, just like not meeting like people in person and stuff.
exactly.
It's been so crazy. Do you have
Right.
any plans when it's like final week of school? You gonna do
Dude,
anything?
hopefully it gets like the COVID situation gets a little bit better. I
Mm.
think we're going on like a better turn right now, right, with
Hopefully, yeah.
COVID and everything.
Mm.
But hopefully it gets better and just I can meet with at least some people.
Yeah.
That's kind of the goal. But on that note, speaking of meeting people and meeting online, even,
Mm-hmm.
should we introduce the guest?
Yeah. Let's get
Let's
them
do
on
it.
it.
Okay, so without any further ado, welcome everyone. Welcome Mira and Ankit from UCI and the Leaving Footprints podcast. We're doing a collab episode with them today.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hey
Yeah,
guys.
thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Super
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah. And the amazing thing about you guys is that you guys have your own podcast. So you guys
Mhm.
want to talk a little bit about your podcast, what you guys do?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want
Yeah.
to learn more, Mia?
Yeah, I'll go for it. So our podcast is Leaving Footprints, and we basically have professionals from all different fields and career paths come on there. And we kind of have them talk about insights into their field, what's like the most successful way to get into their field, and just general advice, mainly catered towards students, but anybody can listen to it. I'll get
Yeah,
you one.
I think so. Both of us are in the job search process and like we're kind of looking for jobs because we are going to graduate from our master's program very soon. So networking is a very overwhelming part of our like just in job search in general because you have to talk to a lot of people, and then sometimes you don't know what questions to ask and like what we need to know. So we kind of wanted to build a platform where people can just directly refer to. So we had a lot of professionals. We had a photographer, we had different engineers, we had data analysts. So we're hoping to have more different professionals in like dancers, pastry chefs, everything in the future. So it's been going pretty well actually.
Yeah, no, it's a really fun podcast, Leaving Footprints. I recommend everyone check it out. Um, but yeah, other than that, how are you guys doing with the master's program at UCI?
I can start with that. I think this has been it's an interesting experience for sure because as you guys probably have felt, because our entire program is pretty much online since it started last year in the end of July. And for me, I went directly into from my undergrad, which I ended in June, and then I started the grad program directly. But I think the grad program's been very different for me personally because I think I've learned more about myself in terms of like what I want to do as a career in the future. I didn't have that much clarity when I was doing my undergrad. So I think the masters helped me a lot in just kind of narrowing down, okay, this is what I want to do in the future. I'm kind of happy with the path I'm taking. Um, and what's crazy is like I was telling Miri also, So our podcast, we have never actually recorded in person. We've always recorded over Zoom. And we met for the first time, like in person, because I've only met Meera like twice now. But over in person, I've only met her twice. But over Zoom, we have met so many times that I felt like I know her. So it's been a different experience for sure. But I think it's been very rewarding in many different ways as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say we were just talking about how they're in person and we should do one in person. So that
Yeah.
would be really exciting. And then I was also gonna say, like, it's crazy that you guys are on your last semester right now because we
Mhm.
had Sankalp on ours and he was just starting off for his freshman year. So
Oh,
like
yeah.
congratulations for that.
Thank you.
But yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and like take my part on this question too. It's been really interesting because I graduated almost like 3 years ago now from undergrad, and I personally preferred online learning just because I feel like I have so much more flexibility with my time. I remember like in undergrad, I'd always struggle to like find time to work out or cook healthy, but with online, it's been easier to do that. But yeah, we're almost done too. Like I'm on my final stretch and Ankit has another quarter left, so it's been pretty crazy. Like it's just going by so fast.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, even for me, like, like most of the part, like I do prefer online schooling because it's just so much easier. Like it's so much more flexible, and you don't like there's not as much stress that like is involved, like compared to us being in person. But obviously, us not meeting people and stuff like that is kind of like the more difficult part. And one thing that I'm thankful for, one thing I'm thankful for is like just parking. I just don't want to pay for parking.
I agree. We actually had our first in-person class. We have a hybrid version of one class for us this quarter, and I think when I entered that lecture hall, I just felt completely different and coincidentally, that was the lecture hall where I had my last undergrad in-person class.
Oh,
so
wow.
when we entered that lecture hall, it just felt completely different, like a different vibe altogether. We're all wearing masks. We're all sitting 6 feet apart. And it also offered hybrid, like people were there on Zoom as well. So it's a different experience. I mean, you're in person right now. If you have classes, it's very different.
Yeah, I haven't been in a classroom in, like I said, like 3 years. So it just being in the middle of a pandemic, like you have to sit a seat away from everybody. You're wearing your masks. And like I feel really awkward. Like I don't want to drink water or anything during class because I don't want to take my mask off. It's very interesting, but I think it's been nice. Like it actually feels like we're going to school.
Yeah.
No,
and hopefully you guys are back in. I mean, things are starting to open up. I mean, UCSG is even going to have in-person graduation for their the recent class, and they can allow 2 people to come in. So hopefully more schools are getting the opportunity to have in-person classes and graduation, because I think we spoke to Sankalp also when we had the conversation on our podcast. Graduation is a huge component for we worked hard for a while. It's good to celebrate that. So I hopefully everyone gets that due celebration, even our class of 2020. So that's the hope now.
Yeah, definitely. So moving on to another. The way I actually know Ankit is he was the dance team. He was on the dance team with my brother. And then eventually last year they were both co-captains of the dance team. So I've been to UCI whenever I go and visit. Ankit's always there, and this is kind of what Anish said about parking. So I've been to the parking lot that they park in. I've been to Ankit's car, his whip, right? So what's the parking situation like at UCI? I feel like it's crazy expensive.
Which makes me really happy. It's all free right now, so I'm really happy. I just park anywhere without worrying of getting a ticket. So it's really nice right now.
Yeah, must be nice.
Yeah, must be nice.
It's pretty good right now. Like when we go to campus, like I can go to campus, like I park. So usually for like where I live right now, it's a campus apartment. You have to park like a 15-minute walk away. But right now, since all the parking around us is mostly free, I can park to the parking lot right next to me, which I'm kind of really happy about. So right now, the parking situation is pretty good. Hopefully, when we are done, hopefully they reduce the price next quarter because of COVID and everything, but we don't know that.
Yeah, I don't understand why parking is so expensive on campus, like all the time for any university. It's so unreasonable.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, especially now when like there's not that as many like people coming to campus as there was like before the pandemic. So
yeah,
it's definitely interesting with that. Yeah,
I have yet to pay for parking, but that's just because I haven't gone to campus, right?
Yeah, or he's got skills.
Or But we can't discuss that on the filtered portion.
That's true. So you guys got to stay tuned to our live portion, unfiltered. There you go.
Marketing
101.
Yeah.
That's it.
But Mira, what about you? I know you're in Irvine too right now, right? Yeah. So what's that? How's that been?
It's been nice. Irvine is interesting because it's very slow paced and quiet compared to I'm from the Bay, so it's like very
Oh,
different.
okay. Yeah.
But it's been nice also just being able to go on campus. Like Ankit took us on a little tour, so it was really nice to just go there because I feel like I really missed out on the UC Irvine experience, which makes me sad because I was excited about that because I went to UC Davis before and I was always on campus. Like I was studying or I was walking around or I was hanging out with friends, and I missed all that for my grad school experience. But it's okay. You kind of win some and lose some because I did say I liked the online experience too. But just kind of being here also kind of makes it more real because if I was at home, I still wouldn't feel like I'm going to school. So it's been nice being able to live here.
Honestly, like when I mean, I'm going to take on even this coming Wednesday, I'm going to be taking more people around campus. So these people have been on a program, and me and another person in the program, Harshal, we're the only two ones who actually went to UCF for undergrad. Like, and we both graduated at the same time in class of 2020. So it's like, I think me and Harshal took people around, and I think that's the least we could do in terms of showing people around because we're all the same program and they haven't had the college experience. So I think we've been taking them around, showing them around campus, taking photo spots and stuff. With a lot of people want to do grad photo shoots as well, and that's going to happen like in the next month or so.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's been fun taking them around and kind of reliving our own memories at the same time. It's pretty cool with that, I would say.
Yeah, he's like our personal tour guide. He knows everything about campus and Irvine. I'm just like, how do you know so much about the campus? I don't know
It's
anything
weird
about
because it's
Davis.
going to be 5 years now since I've come to Irvine.
Yeah.
And because I think it's been a completely different experience because I lived in the city of Dubai, and Dubai is like very different from the US.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when I came to Irvine, I was just like overwhelmed in terms of like, okay, this is so different. But as I lived here more, I kind of got used to it and what US and California is. And I think my hope is to stay in California and get a job here, but we'll see what happens in the future, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for both of you guys, do you guys plan on going to school, continuing going to school after you graduate from here, or is it no more school?
I can start with that. So personally, for me, I do not want to go to school after this because for me, okay. So I went from as I said, I went from undergrad to grad, and then like naturally you go from high school to undergrad, right? So all I've done in my life so far is school. I'm 22 at the moment, and all I've done is school. I want to kind of go out there in the world, work, learn more about the data analytics world, which I want to pursue, and actually get experience with it. My dad was like, because so as a backup in case of like job prospects don't work out, I have been applying to schools again, but that I'm not keen on that at all. My dad's like, if you keep applying, you're gonna end up doing a PhD, which I don't know about it that because that is again a lot of like studying commitment, and I don't think I'm mentally prepared for that at the moment. So I personally wouldn't want to go back to school right now.
I think it's important to take a break between
Yeah.
school. I would want to go back to school. I've always thought about it. Like, I really want to get my PhD, or I want to kind of go into teaching, but like we'll see what happens in the future. Because I took a break like 2 years after undergrad because I didn't think I was gonna go back. I was just like, okay, let me just find a job now. But then I really was interested in analytics, but I had no like I do have a background in like statistics, but it was hard for me to kind of figure out the next step. So I think I would go back. I actually like I do well in school, like I thrive, and I actually made a LinkedIn post about this because like I like learning.
Mm-hmm.
I like learning about the things that I'm passionate about. So I don't think it would be obviously it would be really difficult to pursue like, your PhD or going back to school, but I'm like up for the challenge.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and also, I mean, talking about like, more school and stuff. Like, I was wondering, like, what's kind of like your guys' dream job? Like, what do you guys like see yourself like doing in, the next couple of years?
I can go for this one. Oh my God. Okay. So my dream company is Taco Bell. I really want to work in analytics or
Respect.
data science for Taco Bell. Yeah. I've been trying so hard.
Sankalp's brother loved Taco Bell too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been like pestering people who work there. I'm like, can I talk to you? Like, how do I get a job here? But, things aren't looking so great right now. But in the future, I'm going to keep working on trying to get to Taco Bell.
Yeah, my dream job would be for more of a tech company. I want to work in a tech company with an analyst job. My dream company is Google. So, I mean, like any other, like a lot of people probably listening. But We're working towards this right now. I'm kind of overwhelmed by applying to the big companies. I haven't applied to any big company so far because I'm just like, oh my god, it's going to become real once I do. So it's in the process. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, no. But definitely, Mira, if you get a job at Taco Bell, please sponsor us.
That'd be
We've
great.
we've been asking Taco Bell to sponsor us for a very long time now.
Yeah.
Taco Bell, if you're
Oh.
still listening, please sponsor us.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
Or
course, if I
yeah,
have
I mean,
that in my power.
yeah. I mean, I know like some friends who work there, like who like do like the cashier and checkout stuff. So if they're watching, please sponsor us.
Exactly. Yeah. I was honestly at Target yesterday, and we were just my brother needed a new shirt, so we were just out shopping for a shirt, and I walk in right to the shirt section, and the very first thing I see is a Taco Bell shirt at Target, right? So instantly I
You
went,
gotta cover
grabbed
it.
it, and bought it.
Yeah.
I have that
Um,
too. I
Yeah.
have the same one,
exactly.
yellow one.
Yes.
I have that too.
Oh, it's the white one with like the different colored chips.
Oh, okay. I
Oh,
have
that's
this
cool.
one which is like it's like a neon Taco Bell symbol. It's like light yellowish. I got
Ooh.
that
Oh, that's
the
cool.
moment I saw it from Target.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
some Taco Bell merch from Target also. It's a great thing
Yes.
that they make that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't shop at Target that much.
Dude, trust me, you gotta go just for the Taco Bell shirt.
That's true. Yeah.
I
I
think
feel
this
like
has
I'm more
become a
just like
Taco
the.
Bell spot. This has become a Taco Bell
I
ad
know.
now.
I could talk
Exactly.
about them for forever, so
I
This
agree.
is true.
This
Very
is
true.
why they should sponsor us.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I'll try my best. If I work there, I'll try my best.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. A little background on Ankit for everyone listening. Just cause I know him, right? He's best friends with my brother. And I've gotten to know him a lot over these past 2 years. Ankit was actually a. Do you wanna tell the story, Ankit, of
I'm not sure which one you're talking about now.
it's the child hero story.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I was as a kid. I lived in Mumbai, not Bombay, because a lot of people get offended when I say Bombay instead of Mumbai now. So I lived in Mumbai before. I was born there. I lived there till the age of 5, and then I moved to Dubai. So with Mumbai, when I lived there, I was a child actor for a couple of years, and I did a couple of ads and stuff. So if you guys have probably heard of the energy drink Glucon D, um, specifically the orange flavor packet, now it's not there anymore because I mean, of course, they changed the covering so many years later. But for about 20 years ish, I was on the packet and I was the kid on the back. I don't know. Uh, and then I did a couple of ads for the banks. I did ICICI Bank, LIC Bank, and I did one ad for Pizza Hut, and then a couple of more things. I was also in like 2 episodes of some Indian soap opera. I think we spoke about this to Meera also yesterday. But I think I was really young at the time. I didn't really know what was going on. In fact, like for one of the ads I did, used to like, how you go, like you audition and stuff. So I was a kid. So I basically, they wanted me to put paint on myself. I straight up refused. I'm like, I'm not putting paint on myself. And I ran away from there. My mom was like, Ankit, come here back and just do this. But yeah, I straight up refused. I still got the ad. I don't know how, but like,
True talent.
True talent.
yeah. And
That's
even how I
incredible.
got selected for this was extremely weird because my parents and I were just sitting in a McDonald's and I was like 2.5 or something. And this photographer comes up to my parents and he's like, your child should be in ads and stuff. And then he gave them the card and my dad was like, okay, this is kind of sus. So he checked the card and whether it's actually valid and stuff. And then kind of got started with the portfolio and I did 10 ads in total. I don't remember much about it, to be honest. Like I remember what my parents have told me, but I don't know if I would do it again. I don't think I would do it again. At the time also I was like a kid, so I don't know if I would do it now because I'm really nervous in terms of just other than dance and like maybe the podcast. I get really nervous in presenting in class and everything, so I don't know if I can do like an acting job or anything.
Hmm.
Yeah. But that's incredible. Like
Yeah.
I didn't know
It
that.
was the coolest thing. We had the like box of Glucon D at
Oh,
our
that's so
house,
cool.
and Ankit was over, and Mom was like, "Is this you?" And she
Oh,
he was like,
wow.
"Yeah."
That's awesome.
No, but to Mira, I know something that we both talked about on this podcast a lot is working out,
Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
getting in shape, getting healthy. And Mira, I see your Instagram stories, and you're like pulling cars and everything. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh
What?
wow.
Yeah, it's so cool.
That's
Like,
awesome.
what got you into like working out and doing extreme workouts like that?
Yeah. Oh my God, that's hilarious that you're like watching my story and that's yeah, okay.
She's just like
So
surprised that people actually care.
so my sister, we both work out together. We kind of motivate each other to kind of keep going. She's always been very active. So I kind of, since I grew up, like I learned a lot from her. So I think she used to do like CrossFit and everything. So just seeing her, and it's kind of something that we do together, is how I really got into working out. So when the pandemic started, we went super hard in working out. Like, oh my God, I was burning like 1,000 calories every day. Like it was crazy. But just having her there and kind of watching her progress and just all that kind of is what makes me keep going and working out. And also it feels good. And it's very accomplishing. Like, like if you're running and you run like a 9-minute mile versus 10-minute mile, it feels really good. And like I kind of need that, especially in school, like when everything's so hard. It's just this
Yeah.
is something that I can control. And then pulling cars and all that. So I don't know who's gonna listen to this, but my boyfriend, he's a personal trainer and he does crazy stuff like that. And he's like really into weightlifting. So he one day during the pandemic, he told me and my sister, like, "Do you guys want to pull some cars?" And I'm just like, I don't think I'm strong enough to do that. But then I did it and I was just like, oh, this is so cool. So that's kind of how I started pulling and pushing cars. It's really fun. You guys should try it. It's not as hard as you think it would be, but it is difficult.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, because like the first thing that came in my mind was I remember Brie Larson, who's the actress for Captain Marvel. I remember like that's something that she did
He
for
pulled
her
the
workout.
truck.
Yeah,
Yeah, the truck. Yeah, that was like the first thing that came in my mind when I heard that. So yeah,
I'm not
but
there
that's
yet.
impressive.
But
Okay.
maybe one day. My car is also like so my car is a Mini Cooper, so it's a lot easier. But he has like an SUV, so it's
Oh
another
my.
challenge.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That's great.
Everybody with Sankalp's, like honestly, like Sankalp's workouts, like how I the last time I saw him was in 2019. And I think over video chat also you can tell there's a big difference. He's also lost, and I think his workout is also pretty inspirational in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Uh,
definitely very inspiring.
I have a question for you guys. What's like I guess the coolest workout you've done or something exciting that like for working out?
you can go first.
Oh, okay. I need to think about it a bit. Well, you go first.
Okay.
'Cause, yeah.
Um, that depends. It depends on if I'm doing like strength or cardio. Cause I did a lot of cardio. Basically in 2019, I think I hit like the highest weight I've ever hit, and since then I've lost like around 90 pounds.
Wow.
So a lot of the cardio stuff that I did was jump rope, and jump rope, honestly, I love it. And I
Mhm.
know you started to
Yeah,
do it
he
too.
got me into it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so far, like I started doing jump rope. I think beginning of this year,
Mhm.
or maybe like late last year. And so far, I've lost like 20 pounds. So like
Exactly,
yeah,
yeah.
so I'm almost there to like the goal that I want to get to. So just gotta keep working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, dude, jump roping is fun. But what I do is I like to add like twists into jump rope. I don't like to just do like the normal,
Mhm.
jump. I like to do a lot of kicks. I like to do like twists and stuff like that, just to make it fun. I get bored very easily, like very, very easily. So I have to do stuff that I feel is fun while working out, just to keep me like going, I would say.
Actually, same with that. And then I was gonna say the jump roping, like I started jump roping too, and it's so hard. Like I just remember when I was younger, it's like, okay, I could jump rope for like an hour, and then I tried for like 10 minutes and I was dying. So it was like, you definitely have to work on that.
Yeah.
I trip all the time. I'm a very accident-prone person. Like ask Sankalp, like I message Sarthak every day. Oh, I dropped a huge bottle
Oh my
crate on my
God.
leg. It's always the same foot always. So yeah, I've tried jump roping a lot too. I think especially when we're kind of preparing for Zamana. But if you can do it, please. It's a really good way of losing calories and stuff.
Yeah.
That's true.
Speaking of Zamana, for everyone that doesn't know what Zamana is, first off, why do you not know what Zamana is? Right? We have the former captain of Zamana right here with us. But Zamana is UC Irvine's premier Bollywood dance team, right? And they're actually really, really good.
I think I've seen
And
some videos. So,
yeah,
like
I'm
you're right.
I'm not only saying that because Ankit and my brother were captains. I'm saying that because they're genuinely a good team. But no, Ankit, what was that experience like? Because you did Zamana all throughout college.
Yeah, pretty much. I think I I wasn't in my first year. I was part of it, but as I said, I'm very accident prone. So during the first practice of Zamana, my very first practice, I injured my leg that practice, so I couldn't continue for the rest of the year that time. But I joined again in sophomore year and then continued throughout. I was on board my junior year, and as you said, I was captain with Sarthak in my fourth year of college. I think Zamana was definitely one of the most fun part of college because I was able to travel around the US. And what's coincidentally, like even just before the pandemic started, 1 week or actually 4 days before the pandemic, like we went into lockdown, quarantine, and everything. We were all in South Carolina, and we were dancing on stage, and we were around all of people. So it's pretty crazy, and I think I'm really fortunate enough to have been part of it because if I hadn't been part of it, I wouldn't have gone around the US and seen a lot of things. um, when I was applying for grad school as well, I applied to CMU, and I had the opportunity to go to CMU and see the college with Zamana because we had a competition over there in Pittsburgh, so I could see where I potentially could go to college. And I same with Berkeley, like I had applied to all these colleges but I had never been there, so it kind of gave me a different lease. And I think just in terms of like my dancing, so I've been dancing since the age of 3, and I met a lot of new people. I wouldn't have met Sarthak if I hadn't been on Zamana. So it's like I met a lot of new people, I learned a lot of new things, and just like became more confident as well. So I think that Zamana was a huge pivotal part of my undergrad experience. But that being said, it takes a toll a lot on your physical body. And I said, like, I injured myself a lot. So I think this past year in grad school, I mean, of course, Zamana was on a break because of the pandemic and everything. But I think I definitely miss it. It was a good experience when I was an undergrad. But would I do it again in grad school? Knowing how rigorous my current program is, I definitely wouldn't have survived if I did Zamana 2 at this time. Yeah, it would have been really, like, I would have burned out, like, in the first 2 weeks of college.
And do you do any dance like that, Mir? Are you into that?
No, I'm very
No.
shy, I guess. Like I can't do anything like that. But it's really
Okay.
cool that he did it. Like we actually watched some of his videos yesterday. It's very impressive.
Yeah, no, they're really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait. Like also, what are like the training sessions like? Like, how do you guys do that? Like, how long are the training sessions and like
Dude,
things
that's
like that?
crazy.
Zamana?
Yeah.
Oh, oh.
Oh, they're crazy.
So for like our first semester, we go from 9. We usually have practices 4 days a week, and we go from 9 to 12 in the night. But winter quarters, like when we usually had our main like competition season, like where we all traveling and everything, and we had to prepare, right? That was pretty rigorous. I think it is a lot of time commitment, and I think Zaman in general. So we used to practice 5 days a week, from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. And sometimes if competitions are coming closer, we used to go over. Uh, as I said, like it definitely took a toll on a lot of our physical bodies, because it is. And I'm pretty sure at that time we were all getting sick. We weren't that. I mean, COVID wasn't. We weren't like, oh my god, COVID is like how it is right now. So I don't know whether it's COVID or we just all just generally just sick, but it definitely took a toll on our physical health. And but it did force me to time manage a lot because it was a time commitment, so I had to get my things done much faster. So I found myself kind of doing my assignments much earlier. With Zamana, you can't procrastinate. So I think that's something which I've kind of kept in my grad school as well, like kind of doing things early, so I'm like relaxed towards the end. So I think, but yeah, I think it was definitely a rigorous training sessions for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy because, like that's what makes you great. Like putting in that time and that effort. Like that's what that it pays off. Like when you guys have like those performances and stuff. So it's incredible. Yeah. Because like even for me, I do Indian Carnatic singing. And
Mhm.
for like my thing is like it's every Saturday from like 6 in the afternoon till like 11 maybe like 12 at night. So like even that's pretty rigorous, and I've been doing that since I was like 4 years old. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's a lot of work, but I mean it definitely does pay off when you guys have performances or concerts and stuff. So
Right.
yeah.
I think for us, my favorite competition, is not to like kind of give what we've done earlier in the earlier years, but like I think when me and Sarthak were captain, our first competition, I think when we won, I think that was the most like satisfying experience because this was the first time where I kind of like me and Sarthak choreoed something to kind of put something out there. Because earlier we were essentially we were learning choreo, which other captains have done. And when we kind of put our own work out there and we actually got recognition for it, I think that felt really special. And as you said, it kind of paid off. All that large, like in our entire team and everything was putting so much effort. And like, it's a lot of stress as well because like you have classes going on, plus you're doing this huge time commitment. And a lot of people have other things going on as well. So
Mhm.
it's kind of, it was a huge, I think it was a huge, like, I don't want to say relief, but like a huge satisfaction that we actually did something over there and it actually paid off. So I think that was that trophy, that photo, I still have the trophy, like when we got the trophy, that was extremely
Mhm.
special moment, I think, for us.
Yeah. No, the like dance competitions in general. I had no idea about this because I until my brother started doing it, I had no idea like what a competition was like. But dude, they get so hype.
Mm.
Like, um, I would share clips of them that I've recorded, but sadly, they're all unfiltered.
Oh, gosh.
It's a very hype environment. It's a very like like we get hyped up during like basketball games
Yeah,
and
or like
stuff.
rallies.
Yeah, or like rallies.
Mhm.
And for me, to be honest, I'm just that type of person. I get very hyped very quickly.
Mhm.
Um, I'm just filled with energy in that sense. But I don't know, dude. Dance competitions are just they're so fun to watch. Um, but yeah, if you could go to any competition, which competition do you think you would get the most hype at?
Ooh,
Ooh,
that'd be great. I didn't think about that.
You guys also can answer,
Yeah,
both of
you
you
guys can
guys.
send that
ooh,
too. Yeah.
that's a good question.
I feel like it would be like sport related for me, like basketball or something like that. Because honestly,
Okay.
I love basketball games. Like,
Yeah.
I get hyped like super easily. So yeah,
Yeah.
for me, it's like any kind of like sport. So yeah.
I always get hyped up with cricket, and the thing is, like, I'm not a very like sport. Like, I'm not a very avid watcher of any sport as such. But whenever like my family or friends and I are watching cricket, especially like when we're back home, it just like hypes you up a lot. So I think cricket and like I just said, dance competitions for me.
That's a hard question because I'm very calm. Like even when I'm watching sports and stuff, I just kind of watch. So I don't
Okay.
know. I guess I've never gone to like a singing competition, but I feel like that would be really exciting. Not like
Mhm.
for me, but watching other people do it.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
Like a concert in that sense.
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
concerts, so
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Nice.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Honestly, like sports and stuff, we had to do so me and Mira, like we had to do a project in our last like quarter where we had to kind of predict the score of the Super Bowl, which is going to happen based on like what happened earlier. And we both are people who don't know anything about American football. So I think that experience is just about learning what American football is. That got me excited for like like. But then when we started the project, it kind of got went down because I don't know what I was doing. But when we started the project, it was extremely interesting because American football is very different from just like like other sports, and it definitely hyped me up for us. Like when I was like, "Oh my god, this is so cool!" I was like, "I want to watch some game now." And we were watching the Super Bowl. All our predictions came out wrong because I think the game was also pretty unprecedented in terms of like we all predicted the Kansas City Chiefs to win, but I think that
Yeah.
Tampa Bay did pretty well because of Tom Brady, and we should have taken account that Tom Brady was a huge factor in ours. But it was a pretty, I think it was a fun experience learning about American football too.
yeah, it kind of made it more exciting to watch. I usually watch it, but this time I was just like, oh my God, like they're not getting a point. My score is like done. My score is not
Yeah.
Yeah,
right. So
So you guys had like a fantasy league of your own in that sense.
kinda like we had to like essentially, so our program we make like machine learning models and stuff to like predict things and forecast things. So that was like actually it was one of our first projects ever doing that properly. It was a more of a real life project, and it kind of got overwhelming in the beginning because we didn't know about things. But when we started to get into the in depth about it, and this is my first time watching the Super Bowl because I never watched the Super Bowl in my past 4 years. So the game was just extremely exciting in general, and I think watching. And I was in a room with two of like my people from the grad program, and we were all just watching the game, and it just made it all. As I said, all the more interesting watching it.
Mhm.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
You guys are
Yeah.
talking about earlier, like how your freshman experience has been. What is something which you guys have like really enjoyed in your freshman year? Because I know it's been difficult with online and stuff, but what's been something which you guys really liked?
Yeah. For me, it's definitely just like managing my time. I think that's something that I definitely do appreciate compared to high
Mhm.
school. Yeah, because with high school it's like 8 to 3 o'clock every single day from Monday through Friday. But now it's like like Monday I have like two classes, Tuesday like one class, so it's
Yeah.
like pretty free, and then Wednesday it's like the same as Monday, Thursday, and then Friday. So like honestly, just like my schedule just works out really nice, and just like especially with like my hobbies too, because like for me I do like filmmaking and YouTube. So in order to have the time for that, also with this podcast, managing like how we're gonna plan and prepare everything, it definitely like requires a lot more time. So definitely getting that time with college is something that I definitely do value a lot.
Yeah. I would say honestly, being able to like meeting people, and obviously we haven't met nearly as many people as we can,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but still being able to meet people and just how open people in college are,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's so
It's
much
definitely like a
better
lot
than
more
high
like
school.
laid back, I'd say. It's not
Laid
like
back, and like people are willing to actually like talk, or like you get to meet a lot of diverse people.
Right.
For example, the high school I went to kind of felt like I was just sitting with the same people, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And because I know them at that point for like 6 years, because we went to middle school and high school together, so
Yeah.
then just it gives you like it's like a breath of fresh air in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely appreciated that.
Who came up with the sorry? Who came up with the idea for the podcast for you guys?
Me. Yeah, I started a podcast back like late 2019 with my other friend Faiz. It was originally called Perspective Podcast. So,
Okay.
we kind of like talked about the same stuff, like, tips and tricks for like high school students, and like educational stuff, what's happening in the news. But like for us, like, like our time schedule just like didn't work out that well, and also like I could tell like he just like wasn't really like feeling up to it for like doing podcasting, since for the most part it can be overwhelming at times, since like you're
Yeah.
putting kind of like your life here on camera, and like being more like
Yeah.
public and open. So it's
Yeah.
definitely like a lot different than kind of just like talking in person. Like it's you're kind of like giving like knowledge about you out there just
Mm-hmm.
besides your friends. So
Yeah.
yeah. And then, like Sankalp and I, we had like a great conversation. I forgot what the conversation was about, but him and I, we like got into a really good conversation. And then I thought about like, if I want someone else for the podcast, like Sankalp was going to be like the next person.
Exactly. And then we found out we're both going to Sac State, and
Yeah.
it all worked perfectly.
Yeah. So yeah, just like worked perfectly, and I knew that SunClub can also get into some really deep conversations as well. So
Yeah.
it just works perfectly for the podcast, and with the new name Brown Boys Theory, it just honestly it's just amazing that we've made it this far too.
Exactly,
So it's just
dude.
I mean, you
yeah.
guys have done a really good job, and I think you guys have I mean, it's your third season now, so it's a really good job, and it's
Thank
good
you.
progress, I think. And you're putting, I think, as you guys were telling earlier, putting content out there is kind of overwhelming because you are putting out something which is your own voice there, and sometimes a lot of people, as you see, like they say something which is problematic, and it's just like it becomes difficult for them. But
Mhm.
it's definitely being vulnerable over there. So it's a really good job that you guys are doing this now.
Yeah. Same question to you guys. What got you guys into the podcast?
Nina, do you want to go?
Actually, yeah, okay, I'll start with it. So over winter break, me and Ankit were supposed to do like a data science project together, actually. So we were gonna do like all the data and doing machine learning projects and stuff like that. And then like one day he just messages me, maybe we should do something with podcasts. And I'm just like I was thinking like you mean like making a podcast or doing like analysis on a podcast. And then he was like, maybe we should do like an actual podcast. And he came up with the idea, and I was on board because I'm like, at first I was flattered because I'm not really somebody who talks a lot. I mean, I do when you get to know me, but I'm very shy. I don't really put myself out there as much. So I was like, oh, he wants me to be on this podcast. And then I was in because I think it's a really good opportunity personally, even just to like kind of get more used to talking in person, like talking, communicating with people. And yeah, kind of just went from there.
Mine was so. I think I love listening to podcasts in general. I think during when quarantine started, I went listening. I went on a huge podcast listening spree. Like one day back in last year June, like you know how Spotify gives you like the year rewind thingy.
Yeah.
Apparently, on one day I heard about like 7 episodes of some podcast, and the podcast some of them are pretty long, like 1.5 hours or something. And I went on a listening spree for them. So I love listening to podcasts in general. And then you guys just came out. I think one thing which because seeing a familiar face kind of doing it helped, and then I kind of spoke to Mira about it, and we were also on in the process of, as we said, like networking and everything. So it kind of went from there because I was kind of getting, because the thing is like networking on LinkedIn, you don't always get the responses which you need. You always get a couple of responses. You have to reach out to like 100 people to get like one response.
Yeah.
And that's with, like pretty much anything now. So I was kind of getting like overwhelmed, like, okay, I'm actually going to meet people and network with people because eventually you need to that for job search and everything. So I thought that a lot of people might be struggling getting those questions answered. So I asked Mira, and then we just went from there.
Yeah, I think it's like something that we both deal with, and but we're hoping that it's been helping people kind of navigate even just kind of what kind of questions you should ask people, because that's hard, honestly. Like before I network, I always come up with a list of questions, but I never know if they're good enough. So I think
Mhm.
hopefully it's helping people with that as well.
Mm.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yep.
And were you gonna?
Well, you go first.
Okay, all right. I was just gonna bring up a point about their podcast, and this is something we talked about on the finale for season 2. Following your
Passion,
passion.
yeah.
Their podcast is actually they have talked about that a lot, which is like doing the things you enjoy, doing things you like, studying things you like, and that I think is a really important message to send. I mean, obviously we're both younger than you guys, right? We're freshmen in college, and for us even to hear people who are experienced like you guys say that it's okay to follow your passion, right? I feel like that's a big thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? It just helps us kind of feel more comfortable following our passion and doing things we enjoy, or not going down the stereotypical path. So I definitely want to say that that's a really good thing. And to anyone listening, I highly recommend checking out their podcast just because of the advice and tips that they give, and it's very relatable. It's very true, I would say, just real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think one
Yeah.
thing we've definitely spoken about in our podcast is imposter syndrome a couple of times because a lot of our guests and everything, they are working, like some of them are professionals working in different fields. And something which we all kind of go through is like, should we be here? Should we not be here? Because especially we had a photographer, Brittany O'Brien, I think a couple of episodes ago, and she spoke about like she's touring with different so she's like I think Mira can
Yeah,
tell what she is exactly.
she's a concert photographer, so she's toured with I think 21 Pilots, I think Fits in the Tantrums, and a couple of other like bigger bands. And so we actually asked her about imposter syndrome in her field too. Um, but yeah, okay, did you want to go more into that?
Yeah, so like I think she basically spoke about like how it's okay to let yourself feel that way sometimes because it's a human emotion at this point. We all kind of feel like should we belong, but the thing is like you are putting in the effort, and at the end, like it's going to pay off. Like how we spoken about earlier, like Zamana and everything. Every effort which you put in, it will pay off in the best way possible for you. And even when like I think we had another guest, Brittany, our career advisor, and she was also like, at times it's not like a job is rejecting you. You're just not the right fit for the job. So it's like we just have to keep ourselves motivated for certain things because it is very easy to get demotivated by the rejections because honestly, like I must have applied to 100 jobs and you get like probably one interview from that. And possibly like for me, because I'm an international student, sponsorship is a huge aspect. And they usually, especially with the pandemic, sponsoring individuals is very difficult for companies. So that also makes it really overwhelming. So I think just keeping ourselves motivated is the biggest factor in terms of avoiding that. And as you said, like follow your passion. We spoke about it in our podcast. Me and Mira have both have changed our majors. Like I changed my major 4 times, and kind of finding the right fit took a while, but I'm glad it did. But I think taking time with it and understanding what you want to do in the future and following your passion, as Sankalp said, is extremely important because you're not going to enjoy what you do later on. If you're just going to do it for the sake of it, then you're not really going to be happy what you're doing, and it's going to keep you miserable and not necessarily let you reach the full potential which you can. If you're enjoying something you do, it's you're going to be like, okay, I actually want to do this now. I'm happy doing this, and it's like you'll be able to do what you want to the full extent, and that's what we kind of did with the podcast too. Like we're enjoying the podcast, and I think we're able to, like even the content which Mira puts out on Instagram, everything she designs on Canva, and that's like she takes a break, and her break she's designing the content. She likes doing that as like therapy or like therapeutic for her. And for me, even editing the podcast on like Audacity, I wasn't experienced with Audacity, but now editing it kind of just taught me a lot. So I think just like following our passion, as you said, is like extremely important.
Mm.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm really glad that like you got that out of the podcast, how following your passions is important, especially in your career. And then I just wanted to add on, like, I think everybody we've talked to has been so passionate about what they're doing. And I love hearing people talk about how passionate they are about these things because it inspires me as well. And I think it was also important to get creatives on there, like photographer or somebody who works in radio, because I like that we're putting out there, well, you don't just have to go into like engineering or data science or become a doctor.
Yeah.
Like, if you're passionate about photography or something more creative, like that's totally fine. Like it's important to follow your dreams.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing that you guys talk about that stuff. And I mean, it's something that, Sankom and I like to talk about as well and, bring
Mm-hmm.
guests and, have conversations about it. But for like me, I've been on YouTube since 2013, since like,
Mhm.
sixth grade. So, like for me, I've always been like a talkative person to like, friends, things like that. And I feel like it was easier for me to like, get somewhat vulnerable on camera and stuff since, like also I spend a lot of my time on YouTube. I'm not gonna lie. Like if you check my screen time, it's like mainly YouTube. So like obviously like I'm inspired by like Casey Neistat, Logan Paul, all these other like content creators, and it just inspires me to create that similar type of content. And
Right.
then yeah, and then like later down the line, I got more into like filmmaking and how to work with cameras, and then I definitely got like more into that kind of like a way of like YouTube, and it's just been like so inspiring to me, and just like getting into it is amazing. So kind of like taking that skills, implementing it into the podcast, and also like, getting a job through Sac State as the photographer and videographer for CSU, like as university. So it's just incredible like how that just works out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'd have to agree. But yeah, I mean, kind of going into the college days. Um, what what are you guys' favorite memories from when you guys were in college in person? So Mira for you at Davis and Ankit for you at Irvine.
Oh, that's a tough question because I think there's so many.
I
Okay.
feel like, I don't know, just college was really stressful for me. So maybe I could like, I know it's stressful for all of us. I don't think I enjoyed it a lot. So maybe it's easier
Oh,
for
okay.
me. Just because I was going through some stuff, and like we're talking about passion, I was still trying to figure out like what do I want to do. But I think
Hmm.
like some of my fondest memories, like it's just like honestly being in the library with my friends, and we're just there for the same reason, like we're all just studying and we're just trying to do well, and there was like this sense of camaraderie, I guess, like everybody's in there just trying to do well in school. It's like nice to see, and it's motivating. I know it's like kind of boring because it's very like academically focused memory, but it's some of my best times in college were just spent with my friends studying, honestly.
I
That's
think
good.
that's a pretty good memory because I spent a lot of time. So there's a Starbucks on campus, and I spent almost. I remember during finance week, I should be there for like about 12 hours or something. I should like I should be like PJ pants and everything. I'm just like okay, because like finance week we're all like kind of studying and like putting in our work and everything. Uh, but I think the Starbucks, it's like the main Starbucks for the entire campus. And if you find a seat there, you're very lucky. And I used to go bright and early in the day, and I'm like, okay, I need to study here. And it's like open 24 hours during finance week. So I should see at least 7 people I know within like few hours or something. And just like talking to them and hopefully getting some studying done at the same time. I think that was a pretty good memory. And for me, I think Zamana is a huge one. Traveling everywhere and meeting new people, and I think for me the fun side of memories would be, so I mean when I got my car,
Mhm.
I never had my license in Dubai. I never knew how to drive in Dubai, and I learned how to drive in the US, and I got my license here itself. So when I got my car, I think that was my favorite memory. And then driving around to drive-throughs with people, going to places, I think that's a fun memory. Hopefully that happens again soon.
Actually, I wanted to add, since you mentioned your car, like I got my license later. So I got it maybe when I was a freshman in college, I don't remember. But I think like a year or two, maybe my sophomore year, I got a car. And actually I'm glad you mentioned that because that was actually one of my fondest memories too, because then I felt very stuck. Like I couldn't really travel, like I couldn't go anywhere, and I didn't use Uber and Lyft because I didn't feel safe using it. We had like a bus system, but it was always like hectic trying to get to the bus. So I was very trapped, but when I got my car, there was like this sense of freedom that,
And
okay, well,
independence, right?
yeah,
Independence.
like I can just drive to campus, or I'll drive to my friend's house, which is on the other side of Davis. And I was very scared of driving. So one of my friends, her name is Gamal, she was my best friend in college. She like gave me the confidence to drive. She taught me how to parallel park. She would take me to Sacramento, like she would be in the car, help me switch lanes, and like that's when I became really confident at driving. So I'm glad you mentioned that because I think that is one of my favorite memories.
Yeah, no, definitely. First off, Mira, you were at Davis, and we're Sac State.
Yeah.
And I know we have a rivalry, right? But it's okay. It's okay.
See,
We're breaking that down.
see, for me, like I don't pay attention to like any of like the rivalries or like
Oh, you don't?
I don't pay attention to that much. But
Oh,
I know
dude.
SANKALP does. So like it's so funny.
I
Like
have
whatever.
way too much like school spirit. Like even in high school, I hated my high school. Don't get me wrong, I hated that place, but I had so much school spirit. Like at football games, right? Whenever we'd be playing our rivals or something, I'd be there and I'd just be like, yelling or the hyped up person. At basketball games, I'd be that hyped up person when I wasn't playing. But but yeah. Also for Ankit's part, one memory I do have of Ankit at UC Irvine is I went down there October 2019, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and him and my brother, they took me to my first what was it? I think
Garba?
it was a garba, yeah. Do you know what that is?
I don't know.
Do you want to explain?
So
Ankit,
Garba is like, so usually, so there's a festival Navratri which happens like actually it's happening right now too, and then there's one in September, October around that time, and Garba is like essentially a celebration for that, but it's like it's a basically like celebration and like a lot of people dance and stuff, and Garba is like basically a form of dance, and so a lot of people go there to just enjoy and like have fun with it, and that's what usually we did. So usually we used to have our Garba right next to UCI in UCI actually, but that was the one year which we didn't. So we went to the Anaheim Convention Center, I think, and that's when we drove there. I think I still remember we lost the parking lot a couple of times over there. We couldn't find my car for like half an hour. We just like looking which parking lot we park actually, and we just walked around the kurtas. Like all of us are wearing like shiny jackets because for like in Gujarati culture you wear like really shiny jackets. I think they're called kachi jackets, and all of them are like all of us are wearing that, and we're just like walking around. And people, but yeah, I think it's a good memory.
Yeah.
Um,
So
I just wanted to add something. So earlier I said I don't like dancing, but I love going to Garba. And I think it's funny that you mentioned you're wearing your Indian clothes and walking around because after Garba, we would always go to Taco Bell and we're
Yeah,
like here decked out, like in our jewelry and
yeah,
all our Indian clothes. It was great.
yeah.
so literally the okay that day that I flew down to Irvine in the morning I had my SAT. So I took my SAT and then flew down to Irvine, right? And then I get there, we just relax. My brother and I go get some tacos or something, and then we go to the Garba. So I'm just like, oh wow, first and foremost, it's one of my first experiences with my brother and Ankit in LA traffic, and I'm sure you guys know how bad LA traffic is.
It's pretty bad.
And so we pull up to the convention center, right? And right across the street is Disneyland,
Oh, okay.
right? So I'm like, yo, where are we, bro? Like I'm not too well versed with LA, so I'm like, oh wow, so we're in Disneyland right now, right? We go to the Garba. It's one of the like they rented out like an entire.
It was like
Like,
it was pretty much like a mini stadium.
yeah, it was
Yeah, the
so
convention
big.
center is like pretty big. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just filled with people, right? Now that I'm thinking about it, COVID and everything, I'm like, wow, that's so dangerous. But no, like then it was normal, so it was so much fun. And then I think it was like 2 o'clock at night or something, right? It ends, and then we all go. As Mir said, we went to Taco Bell, right? So they said the exact same thing. But kind of an off topic. I think I was talking to one of my friends about Taco Bell just because I love talking about Taco Bell. But we discussed that one of the reasons that that Indian people, or just brown people in general, like it a lot, is because it's a fast food place that has like spice,
Well, a
That's
little
yeah.
bit. Yeah.
That's a good point.
which is something that we can't really get a lot of, right? And brown people, we love our spices,
That's true.
right? So I think that's one of the reasons that we like Taco Bell a lot. It's just because it gives us, it's like the closest fast food we can get to desi food or to brown food.
I mean, there's definitely like similarities. I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you see the Taco Bell in like India and the McDonald's in India, they have like different
dude, those
burgers and stuff. Those are, I think that's the McDonald's in India and even the Pizza Hut in India. It has some like pari tikka pizza and all this in the Domino's and stuff. And over here, it's like a very rare thing. Like you have to go to a specific place to get like
Dude, they're
that type of
supreme.
pizza. Yeah. So it's like, I think you have a really good point over that. It's the spice kind of adds that factor for us.
Also,
Mhm.
like I was just gonna add, for my family, anyways, it's always been like a staple because they've always had vegetarian options. Like
Yeah.
always,
Right.
like they have
That's
a
true.
power
Yeah.
menu and stuff like that now, but they've always had vegetarian options, and we like love going there.
The
Yeah.
Mexican pizza, when it went off, I was really sad.
I can't talk about that. I'm gonna get too worked up.
No, I remember. Yeah, it was heartbreaking. The Mexican pizza. My brother, he loved the potato, loaded potato
Yeah.
burrito,
They bought that
and
back at least.
Yeah.
yeah, so he's happy about that. And then the seven layer burrito. My mom was heartbroken over the seven layer.
Yeah. My mom gets that too.
I'm like
Yeah.
trying. I keep saying the headquarters is like 10 minutes away. I'm like, let me just go set up camp outside and protest. Like, we need Mexican pizza back, but also like hand out my resume. You know?
Yeah, yeah. We'll fly down to Irvine because we're definitely in support of that.
That's like,
Yes.
yeah. Dude, actually,
The headquarters is really cool over here. Like they have like if you go there, I mean, I don't know what with COVID and everything, but earlier one of my friends told me that they used to have like you can test out samples over there, like how you have in Costco for like new products which they're trying out, and like they ask you for feedback, is this good and stuff. And I think I don't know, I want to know whose feedback they took to remove the Mexican pizza.
Yeah.
yeah. You know,
I
but
mean,
I was just gonna say that I had a funny story from like Taco Bell. Like I think it was like a couple of weeks back that I went, and I was going there to get like a couple of bean burritos and like the nacho fries. And I remember like they kept saying it was back in stock, and I was like asking the person like for nacho fries, and like for the longest time I thought he said like continue to like the front door and like order the stuff, and like I was just like I didn't see you add it to like the list because they show you the list on the menu,
Right.
and he said no, just continue and stuff, and I was like okay, so maybe he'll just like add it then. So like I go to the front. And then when I asked about the nacho fries, he's like, "Oh, they discontinued." I'm like, "Oh, that's what you meant.
Oh,
Not
that's
continue,
why.
discontinue."
Yeah. Oh
Heartbreaking.
no, man.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. So I just got my bean burritos, and I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, man. That's painful, dude.
Yeah, but those nacho fries are good. Yeah.
Yeah,
That is.
they are.
Yeah.
That's truly painful. I'm sorry you had to go through
It's okay.
that.
It's okay.
Wow. No, dude. But it's crazy. Like I know we're literally just talking about Taco Bell, but I have so many funny stories about Taco Bell.
That's
I
true.
feel like it's just
It's a great place.
It's a great place.
Yeah. I feel like anybody who I talk to that likes Taco Bell, we go on about it for like 10 minutes. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
That's
Like,
true.
it's like it's one of those like shared bonds that you can just like you can find that similarity with anyone and automatically you have a connection,
Exactly.
right?
Taco Bell in a mid, which is kind of sad.
So there's a Taco Bell cantina in Newport Beach. I was gonna go yesterday. I was gonna ask you, Ankit. We should go.
And one day we'll go.
You guys have to go now,
There you go.
I know.
right?
We have to like honor this podcast episode and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
This episode is dedicated to Taco
We
Bell.
seriously need to get sponsored now.
Yeah, we really need to get sponsored
I
now.
know. We gotta post it on LinkedIn, tag me so they can notice me as well.
There you
Okay,
go.
yeah.
100%.
Securing 2 bags
Exactly.
right there.
There you go.
Okay, no, let's do a little bit more advertisement for Taco Bell. What are you guys' favorite things to order from Taco Bell?
Oh my god. I had the order
The
like when
list.
yeah, okay, so it used to be a Mexican pizza with no meat and a bean and cheese burrito with extra red sauce. But now the Mexican pizza's gone. So I'm like lost. Like I don't know. Get the crunch wrap, but it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Like the tacos are good, but they're kind of too simple. Like the Mexican pizza, it's just like one of those things,
Did you try making one at home?
I made one at home, but I can never get the sauce right. So I need to learn how to make the sauce right, and hopefully it'll taste better.
Oh, you can take the sauce. Okay. So my brother, every time he goes to Taco Bell, he asks for 40 packets of sauce.
Yeah.
40?
I'm not even playing 40,
Oh, wow.
straight up.
Okay.
I have a
I'm
lot.
I
sure
still have
Ankit
so
knows.
many of those at home.
I have a lot too.
So we like anytime we want to make something like Taco Bell at home, we just take one of the sauce packets. But yeah. So okay, bean and cheese, but we can't talk about the Mexican pizza, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, what else?
Mine was I really like the bean and cheese burrito, but I asked them to add onion, sour cream, and then I asked to add Fritos inside it, and then grill it.
Oh. Okay.
That was my regular order for a while. But then if I'm like really lazy and I don't want to have anything, so the Baja Blast was always like a pretty like standard because I don't know whether I've never seen Baja Blast outside, but like I think the Baja Blast at Taco Bell is definitely an experience, and you need to go there to get that. Especially even the Baja Blast Freeze and the Nacho Fries. Those are two of my favorite ones.
So I was gonna say, like, if you add the queso to anything, it tastes bomb. Like, just add it to everything. Like this one time, I think my uncle added it to a Mexican pizza, and it was so bomb.
Yeah, we gotta try that.
Yeah, one day.
What about you, Anish? What's your go-to?
I feel like when I was younger, I used to get like quite a bit more stuff. Like I used to get like bean and cheese burrito. Obviously, like it's a staple at Taco Bell. Get the bean burrito. And then probably like a quesadilla, like either a chicken or bean quesadilla. And I used to get a Baja Blast when I was younger, but now I don't. So nowadays, like I just like keep it pretty simple, just to like bean burritos. I get like 2 or 3. And then sometimes I'll get like a chicken quesadilla, but also like I make it at home, and I like homemade ones better. No great show to talk about, but hey, like honestly, I like the chicken quesadilla we make here. So
Okay.
I'm just saying.
All right. Okay. Okay.
What about you?
Okay, so I don't really spend a lot of money on food other than Taco Bell. Our usual Taco Bell order comes like when me and my brother go, we easily spend like $30.
Oh wow, that's actually a lot
That's
for
the way.
Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just realized that's a lot.
Because, all right, here's the thing. I'm gonna be very honest here. I'm gonna be very blunt to everyone listening. Yes, I lost 90 pounds, right? I still have the appetite that I had when I was 90 pounds heavier, right? So I can go to Taco Bell and knock down like 8 burritos, right? And I'll still be like ready to eat another meal. But, okay, so if I'm at Taco Bell, I've already given up for the day, like health-wise, right? Like if you're at Taco Bell, don't order any healthy option, right? You're not there to order a healthy option, right? If you're at Taco Bell in the first place, you're not there to count your calories or get your 6-pack going. You're there to enjoy, right? So I go and I enjoy. I get I think we get 2 cheesy bean and rice burritos. Then we get a it depends if it's Tuesday because we can't eat meat on Tuesdays. If it's Tuesday, then we get 4, and then we get the crunch wrap and a quesadilla with nachos also on the side. So that's 6 things right there. And if it's meat,
You guys even get, like, I know Sarthak gets the loaded potato griller too.
he gets that. I'm fine if I don't get that one.
Yeah,
To
I
be
don't get
honest.
that often too.
Yeah. And then if I'm eating meat, so I have those 6 items, and the next 2 is the chicken like burrito, just a normal chicken burrito, and then one of the new Chipotle chicken melts that they got. I really like those.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I need to go to Taco Bell with you. Like, I love that
Yes.
point. Like, if you're going there, just eat what you want because you're not going there to be healthy.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you can go to. I don't know any healthy.
That's fine.
restaurants, actually.
Fast food.
Honestly.
I mean,
Yeah.
okay, so I think Taco Bell was named the healthiest fast food because they have the power menu.
I don't know.
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I used to eat from the power menu at one point in time, but I never ate from the power menu with the intention that I'm being healthy. I just used to eat it because it was good.
Yeah, I don't
It
think
is
I'm going to
good.
Taco Bell to eat healthy. When I'm going to restaurants, I think if you want to eat healthy, probably just cook at home.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, or like at In-N-Out. Do you guys know about like the healthy options at In-N-Out?
Lettuce,
The lettuce wrap.
Oh,
I don't think that sounds appetizing. Like, why would any? I mean, I already don't like lettuce, and then if you give me a lettuce instead of a bun and just put cheese in the middle, that's just weird.
I've had the veg. Like, I tried to get it once, but they were having like difficult time because I'm vegetarian and they usually put the cheese on the patty. But I got it. It was interesting. It's just like a salad with cheddar cheese or whatever, American cheese or whatever they use.
I don't know. That just sounds weird. Like a random cheese in the middle of just. I mean, they put the other stuff too, but like a random cheese thing in the middle of lettuce. And I don't. Yeah, I'm a very picky eater, so I already don't like lettuce. And then I'm a fan of very like few cheeses. So I don't get cheese on a lot of things unless it's like melted. So yeah, I definitely couldn't have eaten that one.
It's not for everyone. I
Nice.
think the bread, like, just stick with the bread.
Yeah, exactly. Like one day of carbs isn't gonna kill you.
Yeah,
You're fine.
Yeah. It's all good.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like we've gone on this talk for quite a bit.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I think that can do it for our video portion. Then we're gonna go into our audio portion. So make sure y'all go check out
Yeah,
our
everyone
Spotify,
stay
iTunes,
tuned to the
all
audio
that.
push. Because
Yeah.
this is honestly a fun episode.
Yeah, we've had a
right?
pretty long conversation. It's already been over an
yeah.
hour. So
And it's only gonna get more fun, so tune into the audio portion.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, again, season 3, we're super excited. We're definitely gonna have a lot
Yes.
more people, a lot more change ups,
Yeah.
and also us being on live for Instagram. So definitely come out very very soon. And yeah, so that's gonna do it for us on
Stay
episode
tuned.
1. Yeah. See you guys
Bye.
later. Peace.